Hi, I'm Anne-Marie Bennett from kaleidosoul.com. Welcome to SoulCollage Storytime, where I'll be reading today from my book, Into the Heart of SoulCollage. This is chapter 8, and it's called All My Children. I once heard Sina Frost, Sina Frost is the creator of the SoulCollage process. I once heard Sina Frost say that she regularly asks herself this question: have I been faithful to my child today? She is referring to her inner child, of course, not one of her biological offspring. Sina also recommends that every soul collager create a committee card for their happy child. I made a happy child card right away, and as I continued with my soul collage practice, I found myself creating several different cards for my own inner child. After hearing Sina suggest that we give names to our cards, I decided to call my inner child Juliana, which is the name of my favorite childhood doll. Sina also encourages us to separate out the various childlike energies onto individual cards. This inspired me to notice the varying energies and emotions of my inner child and to create cards for each of them. My deck now contains cards to honor these more positive, uplifting parts of my inner child: my creative child, my happy inner child, playful, curious inner child, and mystical inner child. I also did work over the course of a few years that involved some shadowed aspects of my inner child. And out of that work came cards that reflected my rebellious child, my lonely, sad child, my shamed child, and my fearful child. When I was growing up, showing emotions other than happiness and gratitude weren't welcomed. So it was a healing and affirming process to honor each aspect, each face, each feeling of my inner child with its own beautiful card. My rebellious child, when young, was never given space to be angry. My lonely child was often tucked into bed with no one to wipe away her tears. My shamed child was brought up with the feeling of not enough. Giving each of them image and voice through the soul collage process has given them, and consequently me, the emotional acceptance that I never experienced as a child. Along the way, I also created a card with an image of myself at 12 years old, surrounded by divine beings. I've come to believe that these beings were with me even when my childhood took an abusive and difficult turn at the age of 12. Having that particular card in my deck now is a beautiful reminder that I was and am never alone. As you can see, sometimes creating a series of cards for your deck turns into its own journey. I hope that you will find inspiration in my tribe of inner children and that you will find your own unique ways to be faithful to your inner child. Time for reflection. Journal with this question: how have I been faithful to my inner child lately? And how can I be more faithful to my inner child this week? Do you have a card for your happy child? If not, set an intention to find some images and make one. If you do have one, set it on your desk or nightstand where you'll see it often. Make time to do some journaling with your happy child. What does he or she need from you this week? Flip through some magazines and rip out images of children that call to you. Here are some aspects of our inner children that you might like to honor with a card: wounded, lonely, creative, magical, playful, happy, sad, rebellious, wounded, shy, frightened, guilty, shamed, secure. And maybe there are other inner child voices that are important for you to honor. Thank you for joining me today. This has been Soul Collage Storytime with Anne Marie Bennett from kaleidosoul.com, where we celebrate all things Soul Collage as created by Iscena Frost. And this was from Into the Heart of Soul Collage.